All right, Elliot. So we've got the new e12 contact ball, and it seems like a really interesting piece of technology. You guys sent us a cool kind of deep dive visual of what the new dimple looks like. Can you explain to people what the dimple is first, for people who haven't seen it, and then second, how you guys arrived at this being an answer for maybe longer distance off the tee and with every club in the bag?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our new contact force dimple, as featured on the new e12 contact golf ball. The technology is so good, we named the golf ball after it. We're about 5 years in on a project in R&D that we refer to as contact science, optimizing the moment of impact for the unique needs of each shot and each club. And so round one of contact science was the Tour B last year. We had the reactive cover. It was a material change to the cover. It provided more speed off of the driver, more control on the short game shot. That was via a change to the rubber of the cover. Round two of contact science is in fact the contact force dimple. And so what the contact force dimple does, it has 38% more contact at impact. And by having 38% more contact, that allows more energy from the driver to be transferred through the cover, through the mantle, to activate the core, which is the engine of the ball. So faster moving, longer distance off the tee with the contact force dimple. And then that 38% more contact creates added friction for more control, more stopping power on the short game shots. So really pushing the envelope of both distance and spin through the structural change of the contact force dimple on our new E12 contact.
So this might seem like a silly question, but how many dimples does a golf club come into contact with, say, with a driver versus a wedge over the course of a single shot of that microsecond they're together?
Yeah, it's a good question. You probably have about a quarter of the number of dimples on a wedge as you do on a driver, just because the ball's not deforming as much since the shot is not as violent.
So you're looking at maybe a third of the face of the ball, the total area of the ball, wind up hitting the driver at the end because of the deformation?
Correct.
Okay, so then what does that translate to in terms of more energy transfer relative to more classically designed dimple?
Yeah, well, since the raised portion is the same across all shots, it's not a material change, so it doesn't necessarily compress more or less, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So what's happening is that 38% more contact is happening regardless of how much of the club is touching the ball. So 38% on wedge as well as 38% on driver.
Right, but I guess my question is, how much more energy is then available to transfer from the club head to the golf ball because of that additional surface area of contact? Is that what the science is happening here? Is that what's making the change in terms of the contact force dimple?
Yeah, some of the exact percentage of increase of ball speed, et cetera, some of that's relative to the swing speed, but the constant is the amount of contact across the varying swing speeds, varying level of player.
And what does this ultimately mean for spin for a player? I mean, we talked about it a second ago, short game spin. What does it mean off the driver?
So driver, it's just shy of a mile an hour faster is what our testing shows in terms of velocity. Around 100 RPMs less driver spin, so keeps the ball flight down just a touch. Flip side of that with the wedge on a 15-yard shot, our testing shows that golfers pick up around 600 RPMs.
And how do you expect folks who are maybe used to the E12, E6, E12 family, where do you think that folks who have played those balls for maybe a number of years, where would they fall with the E12 contact? Is it kind of a big umbrella, everybody can use it, or is it maybe set for a specific type of golfer?
That's a good question. When we went into making this golf ball, previously we had the E12 soft and E12 speed. They were separated by how firm they were for different swing speeds, essentially. Yeah. When we went into making this ball, we prototyped two models. We were prototyping a firm ball and prototyping a softer compression. What we found through the series of prototyping is with the energy transfer being more efficient, the core being activated easier to compress, that one specification actually worked for the wide range of swing speeds, and we didn't need to kind of have the two specifications anymore. So anyone that's previously played E12, this ball works great. Anybody that plays a distance golf ball that's looking for some forgiveness, looking for some accuracy, this is a great option as well.
So is that maybe something looking forward into the future of Bridgestone golf balls? Is that a way of almost kind of backdooring into compression, into feel, by being able to make a softer golf ball in terms of feel, but with the more surface area, being able to deliver a little more pep in the step for a quote-unquote softball?
Yeah, I mean, it does allow for more flexibility in construction. generally speaking, our golf balls are the lower end of compression for the categories that they're in. But at the end of the day, we do want high energy transfer. We do want velocity. We do want distance. We also want to deliver forgiveness. And I think the dimple kind of packages all that together.
Yeah, you guys have mentioned that side spin has kind of been reduced here because the way the drag works against the golf ball. Can you walk people through that a little bit as well?
Yeah, so every layer of the e12 contact is working towards forgiveness, towards side spin. So removing side spin or minimizing it rather. So the core of the golf ball has what we call a gradational compression core. It's firmer on the outer region of the core for speed. Within that same piece of rubber, it gets softer towards the center for forgiveness. So when you move out to the mantle layer is designed to cut down on driver spin as well. Now the cover and the dimple are also working to cut down on spin. So the raised inner portion is a big contributor to the 38% more contact, but this outer area that kind of looks like a series of 3 prop airplane propellers connected works to help horizontal rotation of the golf ball when it's on a flatter trajectory, like with a driver or a 3-wood.
So, I mean, what the type of golfer that typically plays E12, are they the type of golfer that maybe has a little bit more side spray than someone who's in the Tour B? Or is it more of a wider variety of golfers that maybe are kind of straight already and now they're going to be a little bit more straight?
I think it's a little bit of everything. It's, our data, we're leaders when it comes to golf ball fitting, and our data shows that a lot of people who are playing, a high spin tour golf ball that aren't able to manage that spin benefit from looking at the E12 because of not only what it does from an accuracy standpoint, but also from knocking down driver spin as well and total spin.
And not to try to get out in front of or being too leading in terms of a question, but for a player who isn't a Tour B ball, is there some benefit here available to them in looking at the contact force dimple compared to what they're in already with Tour B?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of our Tour B players, they're wanting high performance tee to green. They're wanting ball velocity off the tee. They're wanting to work the golf ball in some cases. They're wanting in the RXX line to get the ball in the air easily. They're wanting that reactive cover for the high spin into the green, those short-sided chip shots that they need to stop and be aggressive with. I think what a Tour B player would see going to E12 is they might see a little bit more forgiveness. They're going to give up some of that short game control that they're familiar with.
Sounds good. So what's the price point and then availability for everybody with the options available to them for purchase?
Yeah, so this is in market Friday, February 26th. It'll be available. E12 contact available nationwide across all different retailers. It's available in white, matte yellow, matte green, and matte red, and has a shelf price of $29.99.
Awesome. Elliot, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, man.